All right, Dr. Shankopotamus here, working on the 2018 BMW X5. We're going to be putting on the running boards on the driver's side. Sometimes they're called the footboard. Look them up on realoem.com. That's, if you don't know about that with the BMW, it's a great place to find all the part numbers. This part number is 519-523-57132. I'll put that on the website, on the YouTube website. And as always, please, if you like this video, it's helpful, go ahead and subscribe. That always helps me out with YouTube. I'm going to show you a couple of things. The passenger side is already on. Did that one yesterday, took forever, but now I've learned how to put these on. Another thing, there's no instructions for these. Now there's a suggestion of a website that the dealer has access to. It even says on some of them to print off the instructions when you sell these. I called several dealers and they have no idea what they're talking about on the websites. So unable to find any kind of instructions. And that's one reason that I wanted to make this video. So the first one was a little bit of a challenge, and I'm going to show you several things that I learned. Hopefully it'll cut your time down. You can do it maybe in 45 minutes to an hour each side, I hope. Maybe even less. This is the second half of the packet that came with it. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Okay. And just for poops and giggles, I wrote the number down on here. That's your part number. All right. Oh, 566 right now on ECS tuning, where you can get them. These are your little fasteners that go underneath. All right. Comes with new ones of those. This is for your support that goes in. It's very important that you use the new screws, and I'll show you where those go because they have a sealant on them. And once the sealant's damaged, you can actually get water into the body of the car and start rusting it out. You don't want that. These little bad boys are what hold on the aluminum trim. I learned that the hard way. You got to put the aluminum trim on and secured first with these before you put the running board on. It's not going to work. You'll need one of these little guys that comes in the packet. I would suggest though, because on the trim work, the wheel trim work, there's several of these. If you break one, you really should have a couple of them laying around. Not a bad idea. So you're gonna need those. Another thing you're gonna need, two different plastic. Let's get this up here. These are the black ones right here. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. They're under several different part numbers. These are the ones that I got. You can see they're a plastic rivet there that holds part of the body panels on. I've got several extra ones. I think you only need two of the black ones to actually do the job. And then you're going to want to get you a bunch of these too, okay? Once again, they're under several different part numbers. This is a set of 5 at a time that I got. They appear to be the exact same piece, even though the part numbers are a little bit different, but there's these I have. You're going to need at least 4 of these for the back, or 3 of these for the back, and probably 4 of these for the front. The first time around, I took off the entire back trim that replaced it, but after learning how it fits together, you don't have to take off the whole back trim. All right, so that's some of the parts. You're also going to want a a drill. I'm sorry. You're going to want a drill. I know it sounds crazy to be drilling on your $80,000 car, but you're going to need to do that. Okay. Let me come over here, and we're going to be working today with Dr. Shankopotamus, helping get this done. I want to show you a few things before we get started. Here's your rivets that are inside on the wheel well. Okay, so for the front, you can get away with taking 4 of these off. Let me just zoom up here. So you can get away with 4, but if you want to take them off all the way back to here, take off these first 6, you actually get a little more leeway to move the trim around and get parts around. So if you get it off all 6, you got a little more leeway. Obviously the wheel has to come off, and we're going to remove this inner trim on the inside here so we can pull that back and get access to down in here where these are clipped in. And that's the beauty. BMW clipped these on. It's pretty easy once you figure out how the clips look to actually pop it off. And then the rocker panel comes off here and we replace it with our running board. So the first thing we're going to do, we'll head over here to the board. Okay, so we're over here with the pieces that came with the kit. Okay. You got this piece right here that is your support, and we're going to take the support on there that's off And then this is where those screws go, the large screws with the seals on them. We'll go through there. All right. This is your actual running board. You can see. You'll see this little divot here. It's marked right and left, but you can also line it up based on this divot. This is towards the front. See that? It's towards the front. All right, the other couple of pieces you're going to need, you got one of these for each side. It comes in 2 pieces here, like this. It's marked left and right. Pops together like this. And when you're looking at your running board here, this piece sits right onto here. It's like a little extra insulation padding sort of piece that fits right onto there. And you're going to take your aluminum running board or footboard part, and it ends up going right on top just like that. Now, you'll notice on the back side of it here, there's little holes. There's 5 on each side. It shows those little screws in the front that have got a star or a Torx on them right there. So we do that first, because last time around I put the whole thing on, had to take it all the way back off to get access to these to put them on. So first step, we'll get it lined up on the floor here, slip these guys in, and we will go ahead and put the silver, the aluminum part onto the running board. Okay, and then I'll show you how it looks. We'll get that going. All right, so another important thing when you're putting the silver or the aluminum part on, you get it lined up, put the, I don't know what you call that thing, the insulation or the plastic, the foam kind of piece, put it up underneath, okay, like I showed you before, and then slide the aluminum on, and then you want to start, here's the screw already in, all right, you want to start with the middle. I made that mistake before earlier too. I started from the end. The 2 on the end are oval, so they've got a little bit of wiggle room. The one in the middle is completely round, no wiggle room. So that's where you align it from. So middle one first. Be sure on this side, the back side, that you've got your panel. See down here on this end, we haven't tightened it on yet, but you can see how it's up and off a little bit. It goes underneath these tabs, and then as you put it on the tabs, it'll pull it back and secure it on the tabs. So middle one first. All right, and then we're going to come back and do these other 4, and we'll have this all together. All right, so here we are. We're all together now. We've got the aluminum part on, tightened up. There you go, good to go. Okay, so the next step, we're going to step back here and take the wheels off. I'll be back with you. All right, so we're on the rear end of the car here, and we got this panel we're going to have to pull out, part of this panel, to get access inside of here to pop off the rivets. You've got 2 screws, let's see if I can zoom in on them, that are holding this together. Here we go. These guys, so what? No, it's going to be a 8, I think it's right there. Yeah. Okay, so you want an 8 to get those off. There's some other plastic nuts that are up here. That's here and here. Those are going to be 10s to get them off. And then in the fender well here are little rivets that pop out. Pop this center out very carefully, and you can reuse those rivets. Okay. And then for the back end here, we're going to be taking off these 3 white ones. And like I said, you're going to be using a drill. Okay. It's very easy to do. You get a drill bit that's the same size, look at or very close to the same size of this center, okay? Get a drill bit that's the size of that center, drill out that center, and then these things will pop right out. That's the easiest way to get them out without doing any kind of damage to your trim work or harm your trim work. And then use your trim safe hard plastic pieces to get those out, or little ratchets to get those out. Alrighty, so we're gonna take this apart. Also underneath, I'll show you those in a little bit. Underneath, there's some pieces you got to pop off to get this to come off. We're gonna start with the fender well here, insert, get that off, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I've got these drilled out. Got the screws down off here, got these drilled out here. And then all you're gonna do is get up underneath this, bring it forward just a little bit. All right, and out he comes. If any of it breaks off in the back of there, you can get it out when you pull the trim forward. This one's one to stick. There, came out. All right, let me see if you can see that. There he is. He's out. All right, so we're looking up underneath the rear forward part of the fender well right here. We just removed our rivets up here. We took these screws out. This piece right here, you're gonna have to reuse this. You look up underneath, and here's your black rivets that I showed you earlier, but you can take those off once you've got this whole rocker panel off. Now, up underneath here, and there are replacement pieces that came with the kit, you'll see these little guys. All right, and they've got a little place across the middle of them, like this. Let's see if you can see this here. Let me get some light on it. See, perfect where you can get a pair of needle nose pliers up in there. Just squeeze hard in the middle and pull. They pop straight out. You've got these all the way down. Let's see, I think there's 8 of them, maybe 7, 8 of them. These need to come out next so that you can then get this end off here, because we're going to be pulling this off. Let me zoom back a little bit. You can pull your rocker panel off right here, and then I will show you how we take this piece apart. There's little clips underneath here that clip in. You're going to have to open the door, unclip this, pull this back. I'll show you once you're inside of there. But we're going to get these out of the bottom here for right now. Okay, just give you a little tip here. Use these. This has worked really well. They're serrated on the end. Okay, whoops. Get my hand behind them. Whoop, right there. And they'll lock. Okay. And it's easy to get into the end of this. Get a lock on it, pull it off. So if you get a set of these needle nose locking pliers, works fantastic for getting these off. Okay, so if you want, you can take the whole piece out. I just took it out part way, fold it back. This is the felt stuff, it won't hurt it. It'll go right back where it belongs. If you want to take the whole thing out, just remove a few more screws and you can pull the whole thing out. And you see how a couple of our pieces ended up down in here where we drilled them out and pulled them out, so easy enough to clean those bad boys out. Okay, now we're loose right here, right, and ready to go. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit, and I'll show you back in behind here, so we can get a good view of it, are the release for the panels. Okay, so we're looking back up underneath the fender well here where I moved the cover. This is your trim that I've got right here. This is your rocker panel here on the bottom. If you look back in there, it's really hard to get a good camera angle on it, but there's a little piece that's right in here, that's a little tab you're going to lift up, and that's going to allow the trim piece to come out. Now underneath the trim piece, if you go up just a little bit from here, there's going to be one of those little plastic things that secures it. I don't know what you call them, a little clip, okay? But that clip pulls straight off, all right? And then once you get those clips off, you'll be able to see there's a clip under here too. So let's go ahead and get this panel. You lift up on this, you'll see a little tab. You're going to have to pull up on that tab. Let me see here. You're going to pull up on that tab from the inside here, okay? Going to go up from the inside, and that'll let this trim piece come out, all right? And here we go. All right, so this piece is now loose. See how it's come up? I'll show you what comes out of there. Okay. Daughter of Shankopotamus just messed up my little piece, so I have to get something to get that out. Anyway, this doesn't belong, okay, so I'll get a little tool to get that out of there. That's got to be off there, it won't fit in. But this is your little clip, okay? Ignore the plastic thing that Daughter of Shankopotamus put on there for some reason. And you'll see on the back side where these slip right into here and then pop into the bodywork, okay? That's why I said have a couple extra of these. Cars really new, they're usually not a problem. As cars get older, these things tend to crack when you pull them because they get brittle. This car's brand new, so everything's still not very brittle. But you also have this trim piece here. Okay, let's show you. You got your trim piece here on the back as well, and this is in with little plastic. I can't quite see them. It's right above us. Little plastic attachments there too. Not little rivets, but little pieces that go in. And then if you look up underneath this, let's move it a little bit more here. Sorry for the movement, but as you pull out, you can see here's another one of these plastic clips right here. And you bring this off, and now your rocker panel will come off on the back. So once you've got your trim up, you just pop this off right here. You can lift the whole thing out, or you can slide it off the back. And then you're loose enough to start working your way down and pulling the whole rocker panel off. All right, here we go. Okay, so we just finished getting the rear. Oh, sorry about the camera there. Stable. Oh, there we go. So we just finished getting the rear part off. We're going to take the front part off now around the fender well, and you can see we've got 4, 5, 6. I think you can do it with just 3, but if you go ahead and take off all 6, you really get a lot more room to work up here, okay? And then this comes off. You can see the screws back in there. Let me see if I can, yeah, there you can see them. We'll zoom in, hold on, wait, whoa, there you go. So you got those little 8mm screws again, going up. You get those off. There's nothing down here like the other one except for underneath. Tuck back underneath there is going to be another screw you're going to get a hold of, okay? And then you got a plastic one here you're going to get a hold of. There's another plastic nut back underneath the bottom too. Like when you get underneath there, you'll see the plastic nut, another screw, this nut. Getting all that off is enough for you to be able to take this panel right here, just like we did on the back, just pull it out and back. If I forget to mention it, when you start to put it back together, put the black panel, the front not so important, but the back especially, put the black panel on first, then slide your trim over. It's a lot easier. So we're going to drill out these rivets. We'll get Daughter of Shankopotamus to unscrew these support screws here, and then we'll be able to pop the rocker panel on off. Very similar setup underneath here as there was back there. There's a little nipple, little piece that sticks in, and you got to lift that up to get it to slide out. However, on this one, and I'll show you once we have it off, I can show you now. On the back of here, this one has got, let me show you. It's going to be easier just to show you. So let's get on up here. Okay, so looking from the inside of the fender well, looking out, you're going to have, see this tab right here? Let me get the light onto it. There we go. This little tab right here that you're going to be after. On the outside, it's hard to see with my fingers causing the shadows. Here we go. On the outside, you come outside and you're going to want to push in right there. You're going to push in, all right, towards the front of the car. There's a second one just like this, up just a little bit. That's what's going to allow this outside trim to slip off. It has the little pieces like we saw on the back too. It's got those little clips, but on the front here, it's got a different kind of clip. So you're going to push in right there, and then that'll help you slide it out. Okay, so we've got this panel undone here. So you don't forget the connections that are in the bottom, one in the back there. That's got one of the little nuts on it. Don't forget that. And then this one that's up underneath right here. And then a third one. So there's actually one extra one that I forgot to mention. But just make sure all your panel is undone. And then up here at the top as well, it just helps to bring it over like this. And once you get it over to here, you should have plenty of room to get back in here. You can see this thing not sealed well at all. It kind of collects leaves and junk. And yeah, no, don't make fun of it. It's time to clean it. I understand that. But you're going to go ahead and I show you where you get all those tabs behind. Push the tab in to bring it out. Same thing. There's another one up right about here where I am. Okay. And another one right about here. So once this is off, you can see this lower tab right here. So there's 3. 1, 2, right about where this is. And then 3 that need to come off. And then you have the same tab in here that needs to be lifted up so that this slides off, and then you'll be able to get the rocker panel off. We're also going to open the door. That'll give us access to slide the rocker panel off. And then we should have the whole thing off. All right, here we go. Okay, so here's our shot with the rocker panel off. And you can see we've got this piece that's out here. Let me show you how this looks up underneath here so you can see. You get in here close. This is that tab I was talking about that has to be lifted up to bring it out, okay? When you look at these tabs, you can see how they've got a piece here that has to be pushed in, let it slide out. Another one here, another one up here, right behind there, okay? This same kind of tab is on the rocker panel. There's two of them, here and here. So you have to get those off. Once you've got those off, there are tabs across the top that pop in here. So you just pull, and then this will pop out. You got to replace this support. It's got a sensor. Honestly, I'm not even sure what sensor it is. There's one on each side, so I thought maybe it was a temperature sensor, but there's one on each side, so that's not what it is. But the sensor itself is all the way at the other end. Just take the sensor off, feed the wire back through here carefully. Pull this connection back out so you can reuse it. It'll pop into your new one. So we're going to do that and get all these pieces off, and then our new supports back there on the floor, we get that off and screw it down. So we're getting there. All right, so now we got the support piece off here. Here's the sensor wire I was telling you about. Like I said, I'm still not sure what it is, but there's one on each side. We cleaned it off. Also, if you have any of the sealant left on those screws, it's on the bottom of your bolts, I'm sorry. And these guys, here we go. See that black sealant? Wipe that off too. And that's why they gave you new ones, because you don't want to reuse these unless you absolutely had to. If you're going to reuse them, I guess I would put some gasket maker, and take this off, put gasket maker on them, and then you could reuse them. Because essentially that's a compressible gasket. It's not just a standard O-ring that's in there. That's a softer material that's going to compress down in and around the holes in the body to ensure you don't get water into there and you don't have any kind of early rusting or damage to it. All right, so be sure you use the new ones, or if you lose one or something happens, I would put gasket maker on this as you tighten it down so it seals it off. So we've got those all cleaned off. We're going to take the new support piece. We'll feed it down from the back. We'll hook in, or we'll connect up the new bolts. We tighten them down, but not all the way, so you can move it a little bit and get it positioned just right and make sure it's level. And then I'll show you a picture once we have that on, and we're just a few more steps away. Alrighty. Okay, so our support here is on. You can see we're screwed down here. We got our sensor in and the wire running along there. All right, guys, so we're going to slide the cover on. We'll slide it up through here and start to get to work to pop it in. It just pops right in. And then we'll reconnect our trim. All right, and then you put new rivets on. Well, when we get the rivets, I'll show you a little trick. Make sure you get the rivets all the way down. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we've got the footboard or running board on. We're going to push it in just a little bit and get it snapped all the way in. But you want to make sure that you line up these guys with your slits here. Same thing here, another one that slides in. And then, then we'll be able to push this tab back and slide it in, as well as slide the whole trim, lock it back on, and then put your rivets, plastic rivets into there. On the back, it's important that you slide your black inside your cover piece in first. Front, not such a big deal. Let's go around the back and see what's going on. Okay, so back here at the back, a couple of important things. When you're looking at your trim, this little piece, this little notch right here, that goes in under your rocker panel or your running board piece, okay? And then there's a second groove that goes inside of your trim piece. So be sure when you do, see the little clip right there? So when you do put your clip in, push it all the way in, be sure that you get your trim piece underneath there. That's what holds that in place and supports it to keep water from going in. And then you'll slide this on top into the second groove. All right, and that'll secure it up against the body. Okay. All right, so we're back now. Zoom out a little bit, maybe not. All right, we've got the running board is on now. We've secured it, pushed it in. The trim we've pushed down. Went ahead and reattached the housing, the well housing. Already done the same thing on the back. Now I want to show you in these rivets. Let me see the riveter. Here's the riveter that we got. Granted, this is overkill for your plastic rivets, but I needed a larger diameter one. My older riveter can't handle that diameter, right? They do make a plastic riveter, but it can't handle the metal. So I figured, what the heck, why not go ahead and get the one that can handle the metal rivets as well. But because it's plastic, it takes a couple of runs through it to pull it all the way down, get it collapsed all the way down, then break it right at the end so it looks nice and neat. So we're going to show you how that works. We're going to do one of these here and we'll show you how this works. So go ahead and put that in there. Now come down here where we can see it. All the way on the bottom. There we go. We put it all the way up against the body. And then we come down once. And it slides a little bit because it's plastic, right? And it's long. So you can hear it start to go in. And then at either 2 or sometimes 3, it will come all the way down and then pop off. You can see you get a nice clean edge right there where it's come off. So we're going to do the rest of these, and then the wheels go back on, and then we're going to drop it off the lift. Well, not drop it, we'll lower it off the lift. And then somebody's going to have to clean it, I think. But that's Dr. Shankopotamus putting the running boards on a 2018 BMW X5. It is the X-Drive 35i that we're working on here. Also, a point with this particular year, this has got the M package on it. It's not the M model, it's got the M package. So, but the running board does fit on the M package model for this year. Some of the other years it doesn't, but this particular year it definitely does. But I hope this was helpful. Hope this saved y'all some time. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. That's going to help me out with YouTube and getting a few funds maybe for the year. But thank y'all very much for watching. You guys have a good afternoon.